Who went dead? Huh?
When you are.
Well, it is 4:30. Welcome to the April 19th Charter Review Committee meeting. Let's have a roll call here. Richard Gotti may join us late. He's on a trip and we're going to try and zoom in. Matthew Bragan.
Present.
Bob Higgins.
Present by Zoom.
Gabe Moderate.
Present.
Wally Paul.
Here.
Sandy Sullivan.
Here.
And chair is here. I guess I'll have to follow along with the starting right off with the review of purpose there. Page I, which I do not have, so I'll have to follow on the screen. Some of our older books have pages 2, 8, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. 2, 4, 6, 8 missing.
He's missing one of them as well.
He is?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll just have to go along.
I'm wondering if that confirms because there were no changes on
Old punch that comes down by.
that might be it.
Which ones besides 4, 6, and 8?
9, 5,
I got 3.
missing 4.
I got 7. I got 9.
Yeah, I guess that's the same as you.
Okay, yeah. 4, 6, 8. You want to go ahead a few more pages and see if we're missing anything else?
I think we just write it until we get to it. He's making new copies. So.
Okay, we'll start.
I move we accept the minutes from the previous meeting.
All right. Any objections? Pass unanimously.
You talking about the Roman numerals or the?
Yeah,
Starts
yeah.
with T.
Yeah, the whole, yeah, letters,
Okay.
I, page 2.
So starting off from grouping of legislation and arrangement of chapters, the various items of legislation are organized into chapters, their order being an alphabetical progression from one subject to another. Wherever there are 2 or more items of legislation dealing with the same subject, they are combined into a single chapter. Thus, for example, all legislation pertaining to the regulation of street and sidewalks may be found in Part 2 in the chapter entitled Streets and Sidewalks. In such chapters, use of article of or part designations has preserved the identity of the individual items of legislation. There's no gender neutrality
Yeah.
changes needed.
Doesn't sound like any changes needed there. Anybody have any objection to moving on?
No. Table of contents. The table of contents details the alphabetical arrangements of material by chapter as a means of identifying specific areas of legislation. Wherever 2 or more items of legislation have been combined by the editor into a single chapter, titles of the several articles or parts are listed beneath the chapter title in order to facilitate application of the individual items of legislation. It is recommending a change. I know I said I'd let you guys know it's recommending getting rid of in order and just leaving 2.
It's recommending what?
So
Yeah,
if
drop the
I were to
words.
read it, it would be are listed beneath the chapter title to facilitate location. Right now it's read the chapter
Sound-
title in order to.
Sounds like
Oh, I
better
see.
grammar. I would say go ahead.
I would change
Anybody
it too.
object to removing the words in order? in Table of contents, paragraph. No, okay, struck. They're
What was that?
moving on.
As long as there's no other changes recommended.
Fine.
Was
You need for any.
reserved chapters and assigned chapter numbers do not appear in the table of contents, but are available for assignment to new enactments. In this manner, new subject matters can be included alphabetically.
Anybody else? No,
Moving on to page 2, pagination. A unique page numbering system has been used in which each chapter forms an anonymous unit. The first page of each chapter is the number of that chapter, followed by a colon and the number or the numeral 1. Thus, chapter 6 would begin on page 6.1. By the use of this system, it is possible to add or change pages in any chapter or add new chapters without affecting the sequence of sequence pages. It is recommending a change. It's recommending by the use of be reduced to use it. I personally don't see,
it's not a big deal.
I don't think that one really, that's,
Let's leave it. And then anybody have an objection to leaving it? Or any other changes?
No, that reads well enough.
I agree. Numbering of sections, a chapter-related section numbering system is employed in which each section of every item of legislation is assigned a number which indicates both the number of the chapters in which the legislation is located and the location of the section within the chapter. Thus, the first section of chapter 6 would be that symbol 6.1, with the fourth section of chapter 53 would be that symbol again, 53.4. New sections can be added between existing sections using a decimal system. Thus, for example, if 2 sections were to be added between that symbol twice, 53.4 and 53.5, they would be numbered as the symbol 53.4.1 and 53.4.2.
I think that stands for subchapter or something.
It is subchapter, but subchapter 53.4 doesn't make sense.
Well, in units respectively. Yeah.
Right, and I think they're using it for 53.4 and 53.5.
Yeah,
So I think
that's what it is.
personally it's fine as it stands. And plus it's just describing the rules of which it's being numbered, so I don't think it's a major change or needed.
No,
Not needed.
and it's a reasonable system, but it
I
does
agree.
let you make additions to things without having to interrupt your whole
I
document.
will say yours lacks the space between in the subject.
I'm sorry, where?
Between the first, just at the top, bottom line. Second bottom line. It lacks the space. Between in your subchapters.
But you don't have a space.
It does that again, but it does that multiple times. So chapter 53 would be, and then it has it right beside it. So right there, for example, and then it does it again here. So I'm assuming it was done on purpose.
Copy shows the space.
Does it?
Yeah.
That one's
No,
scheme. The scheme is the list of section titles which precedes the text of each chapter. These titles are carefully written so that taken together, they may be considered as a summary of the content of the chapter. Taken separately, each describes the content of a particular section. For ease and precision of reference, the scheme titles are repeated as section headings in text. Again, I don't see an issue with that.
Hey,
Histories,
Matt,
yes.
go back up by chapters. Go up, scroll down. So there's another space needed. Chapter 6 should be a space right there.
Thank you.
Yep.
History is at the end of the scheme. In each chapter is located the legislative history for the chapter. This history indicates the specific legislative source from which the chapter was diverted, including the enactment number, example, ordinance number, local law number, bylaw number, resolution number, etc., and the data of adoption. In the case of chapter containing parts or articles diverted from more than one item of legislation, the source of each part or article is indicated in the history. Amendments, individual sections or subsections are indicated by histories where appropriate in the text. No changes? Codification amendments and revisions, new chapters adopted or sections amended or revised during the process of codifications are specifically enumerated in chapter histories with reference to chapter 1 general provisions, where the legislative adopting this code and making such revisions will appear after final enactment. Sections so amended or revised are also indicated in the text by means of editor's notes referring to the chapters cited above. General references editor's notes in each chapter containing material related to other chapters in the code. A table of general reference References is included to direct the reader's attention to such related chapters. Editor's notes are used in the text to provide supplementary information across references to related provisions in other chapters.
Any changes?
No.
Fine.
Appendix, certain forms of local legislation are not of a nature suitable for inclusion in the main body of the code, but are such significance that their application is community-wide or their provisions are germane to the conduct of municipal government. The appendix of this code is reserved for such legislation and for any other material that the community may wish. It's saying that there should be them. But I think there is correct. I don't think them is correct.
Yeah. It's possessive there of that side.
Correct. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Index, the index is a guide to information since it's likely that this code will be used by persons without formal legal training. Which is true. The index has been,
Most exclusively.
right? The index has been formulated to enable such persons to locate a particular section quickly. Each section of the chapter has been indexed. The index will be supplemented and revised from the time to time as new legislation is added. It's recommending that there be a period after Ben, but
It's because of the
end of the page.
way it's spaced out.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah, it is. Let's move on.
Instructions for amending the code. All changes to the code, whether they are amendments, deletions, or complete new additions, should be adopted as amending the code. In doing so, existing material that is not being altered should not be renumbered. Where new sections are to be added to a chapter, they can be added at the end of the existing material, continuing the numbering sequence, or inserted between existing sections as decimal numbers. Example, a new section between subsection 45.5 and 45.6 should be designated as subsection 45-5.1. New chapters should be added in the proper alphabetical sequence in the appropriate division or part. I don't know if you guys want me to keep reading. I really don't see any issues.
Yeah, there's a few changes in this copy here that we made
There
in
is.
the first two sentences.
Oh, actually, yeah. Well, he does have a.
Yeah, whether they are amendments, deletions, or complete new additions.
So for those that are
Shall
new
be-
to seeing this,
Shall be adopted.
these are the old Charter Review Committee's notes
Yeah.
that I'm bringing up.
Instead of should, we have the word shall.
So you're recommending that should be struck and shall should be put in.
Yeah, shall be adopted as amendments to is an addition word, the code.
And then add should be what again?
Shall be adopted as amendments to the code, period. Instead of amending. Word amendments.
Changing it to amendments.
Making it now.
You said amend.
That's plural.
Yes,
The
to the
word,
code.
word to, yeah. Yeah, there you go. And the next word should that shows up next sentence should be shall as well.
Where the new sections are to be added to a chapter, they can be added at the ending of existing material.
That is not being substantively altered, shall not be numbered. Instead of should be numbered.
So new chapters shall be added. Is that what you're saying?
Shall
not
be
be
The
renumbered.
sentence up,
Yeah, yes, shall not be numbered.
The very next sentence. Post altered.
I know I can't see it as. Doing so existing materials is the next sentence that.
And then right on the next line, it says
It's not being
substantial.
Right below the red
altered,
word, next,
shall
no, over,
not be
you know,
renumbered.
keep going over. That, the word should is showing up on that sentence,
Okay, I see now.
make it shall.
It shall be though.
That's the only changes we had. I said. No copy.
He has more on document that I have up. I don't know. If that matters.
We'll catch up, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, some of that is just, like word processing. It's like it ran words together.
It does
Not
that.
in the-
It did that before too. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was an issue with the transfer. So the next new chapters should be added. Should it be shall be added? New chapters shall be added in the proper alphabetical order instead of should.
Where's this?
Uh,
Oh,
mine-
down below?
Yep, the next sentence after the subsection. This new chapter should be added in the proper alphabetical order.
Yep, should be added. Yeah, shall.
Yeah.
Change that one too. Well, we got a bunch of shoulds in here. Let's keep going.
Oh, he has a
Well,
bunch.
yeah, there's a lot of,
Oh my word, I just want the word
Now,
should.
now that I see all the shoulds in there, they're jumping out at me.
Yeah,
It's
Matt,
not,
can you cut and paste that? Should to shall?
I think so.
there's
Let's try
1,
it.
2, 3, 4 more.
Okay, yeah, I'm not
Apply.
doing that every time. All right, where's the next one? The revisions of chapter titles should be. Okay,
4
should-
seconds down.
Should all over the place. Title shall begin with the keyword of the alphabetical listings. Well, under B, blah, 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 and a new enactment for the places should. Shall be, blah, 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 under AA in the table, preserved number is not available in A chapter. Shall be used, and blah, blah, blah. Be included between, we can,
Mhm.
I'm assuming that was a typo. The last version it says B with a dash in between. Can we just delete that?
where is that? Say it again.
So where I have it on right now, so 1, 2, 3, 4, one from the bottom. It says B
Yeah.
dash
I take that out.
between. Is indicated above, containing succession.
It's not a dash on mine.
Next to the last one.
Again, it's a translation error from, this has been translated 3 times. So we're going from book to PDF, from PDF to Word, from Word to a working document, so. It's recommending 2 changes, complete doesn't make any sense. At the very top, it wants it completely, but in this context, I get why it stands, and at the end, it says by the use of, it's recommended using. But it's again, it's so right after it says new articles may be inserted between existing articles in a chapter. It's the same as the one above. It's redundant. I don't think it needs to be changed. But I'm letting you know that the computer suggests no change.
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
So we're just changing a million shoulds.
Page. Will cross that bit,
Where are we at now?
I think we're done. I think those were the only changes that were recommended.
Do we want to
Instructions for minute control. Be with that one.
Okay,
So why don't we,
Do we want to,
swap over to the, is
can we finish the page first?
I'll say. do
We have
wanna
one more
approve?
section.
that all it is?
Supplementation,
Yeah,
and then we're
sure.
done.
Right.
Supplementation of the code will follow the adoption of new legislation. New legislation or amendments to the existing legislation will be included, and repeals will be enacted as soon as possible. And there's no period after possible, so I'm assuming we want to add one.
The next page.
No.
No. Hey, Matt, can you do a space and then delete and see if that comes up?
Oh, there's a reason why I
So
did
that
this.
space-
No, there's a reason why. The reason why I separated it like that is so that those words will be on the same exact page number as the PDF
Okay.
version and the physical book. If I move it up, it's not going to be the same anymore.
Yeah.
That's why I
Yep.
separate.
That makes sense.
After passage, supplemental pages should be inserted as soon as they're received, and old pages removed in accordance with the instruction page which accompanies each supplement.
So do we replace the should with shall also?
I'm going to assume.
Shall is a banned word in the charter.
Legislation.
Obviously, should just get rid of it, we'll put shall now.
Where is it? Supplemental
The
pages should be
very
inserted.
first sentence, the first sentence of the second.
Supplemental
Okay, I see what you're
pages
saying. So it
should
should be, it should be shall. Okay, I think that's the only change that I see. I don't know if you want to move on now.
Yeah.
But we're finished page 5 and now we're into acknowledgement. Oh, actually, if you want to finish acknowledgement, that will completely finish the preface and we won't have to go back to that section.
Let's do it.
That's a good idea.
Acknowledgement. This code is the result of much time and effort of the part of the town officials. The editor's wishes to particularly, which is spelled wrong, acknowledge the efforts of the Millinocket Town Council and especially the cooperation and hard work of the town manager, William. I have no idea.
AU.
His desire for accuracy and attention to detail, as well as his kindness. Yes, it's spelled wrong. I don't know why I won't make rid of that. Greatly to the success of the outcome of this project. The codification of legislation of the town of Millinocket reflects an appreciation of the need of progressive and expanding community. As in many other municipalities, officials are faced with fundamental changes involving nearly every facet of community life. Problems increasing in numbers and complexity and range and importance from everyday detail to crucial areas of civic planning. It is the profound conviction of General Code that this code will be contributed significantly to the efficient administration of local government. As Samuel Johnson observed, the law is the last result of human wisdom acting upon human experience for the benefit of the public. The only change I'm recommending is the correction of particularly. Right, because it's spelled wrong.
People want pages that have missing right here. So
You wanna-
pages 1 through 12 have been reprinted. Those from you.
Mine is fine. Matthew, yours.
And half my pages.
You got it
and
on
every
your
other page.
computer.
I don't have a physical copy for, I've changed it so many times.
Okay, so we're gonna go.
Okay,
We'll be moving to page C30, section 904.
Which page is it?
I'll bring it back up in just a second, Bob.
C930.
Yep.
C30.
So I didn't. C903 is.
And 1, 2.
Starting from form ballot.
I just want Wally to see the changes that we made.
Yeah, go ahead and review them.
Want to take a quick second to read over it.
Okay, this is good. This is,
There was a decision by the majority of the last meeting we had to not move any 5 to 10. We did have a vote on it. It was majority that voted to keep it at 5, just so you're aware.
I don't understand what you're saying.
So the C903 that you had,
Okay,
you had highlighted any 5 for change to any 10. We voted
okay,
to
all right.
keep it at 5.
Okay, good.
That was the only other major
Yeah,
change
no,
that
that's
we,
fine.
we talked about. Everything else was like
Yep.
town of Millinocket and grammar changes. This is the second part of C903, which again, we deleted what, 4 ands and a he. There was no additions,
Scott was,
and there was commas added, that too.
Matt, you should have a space right after the comma after entitled, please. I think that's what it's recommending.
I'm sorry, where?
Entitled,
Entitled, comma, space.
there's no space between the comma and down.
Oh,
Nope.
we haven't made it that far.
Okay.
I'm talking about the old
Okay.
changes.
Oh, okay.
So we didn't do 904.
Note that.
no, that's what we started.
So I don't know if you have any other changes for that section before we move on. No? Okay. Okay, C904, form of ballot. The form of the ballot for the proposed ordinance or repeal of such ordinance, order or resolve shall be sustainedly as follows. Shall the ordinance or order or resolve entitled be approved? Yes, no, and then B section, the voter shall indicate their choice by the cross or check mark placed in the appropriate box. In other words, yes or no.
Sounds plain.
Yeah.
Anybody want any changes to it?
C905 is reserved.
What does that mean? Is there,
Want to create something and put it,
okay,
So was there never previously anything in C905 to your knowledge?
not that I know of. I don't know.
I just find it strange that I didn't know if maybe it got omitted in the past and went to C906 or if it was accidentally skipped and
Yeah,
no, there's other places that has the same wizard. And it just caught my eye, reserved for what?
that's what I was thinking too, was it like taken out and they left the spot there for additions or? C906 referendum reconsideration limited amended on 9/30/1993. Any issue that has been decided by referendum vote shall not be reconsidered by any means until at least 1 full year has lapsed from the time of referendum vote, provided, however, any issue may be reconsidered if the town council determines that an emergency exists affecting the health, safety, or welfare of the inhabitants of the town of Milwaukee. I like it the way it is.
yeah, me too.
Sounds good. It's just telling you need a comma after safety. That's all
Yes.
that is a recommendation.
And I'm fine with a comma. It's just a small grammar change.
Grammar.
My English teacher would be proud.
Yeah.
Uh,
My great aunt would.
After determines it's recommending it's not needed where we move the page down on purpose. Okay, so we're moving on to Article 10.
Yep.
Article 10, general provisions. Repealer is spelled wrong. Chapter 131 of the private and special laws of 1965 is repealed, and all acts and parts of acts of the private and special laws of Maine relating to the town of Millinocket, inconsistent with provisions of this charter, are repealed.
So how do you spell repeal?
Oh, it is spelled right, but it's not like a true word. That it's not like an actual word.
Oh,
Old English.
Yeah, Old English versus New English.
Do we want to put the,
what would be a synonym?
It wants it to be repealed,
Yeah, I would say repeal.
so changing the title to repealed is what you're recommending.
But I don't know, maybe that repealer is a word that gets used in stuff like this too. You know,
It's
that-
like Bob said.
Right. It's legal jargon.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. So if it is, we probably shouldn't be changing it.
I think it's fine.
All right,
It's not like it's used multiple times throughout. So it's
Yeah.
not knowing Old English or legalese is fine.
and I don't see any gender changes in this one either. C 1002, servability. If any portion of this act shall be held to be invalid, such decision shall not affect the validity of the remaining
Yeah.
validity of the remaining portions thereof.
Yeah, that's good. if they find, if some part of this gets thrown out, it doesn't all get thrown out.
Right.
Sorry.
C 1003 title, this charter shall be known and may be cited as the council manager charter of the town of Millinocket. The clerk shall cause it to be printed and made available to the public promptly.
Really? I don't like that council manager. You.
Well, you see, you're helping us make changes, so.
And again,
This charter shall be known and may be cited as the council manager charter of the town of Millinocket.
That's what.
yeah, that's the form.
That's when,
He said he didn't like it.
Oh, sure.
when the manager has more authority than he does now.
You know, City of Portland is considering a
Really?
new form where the not end up in, I can hiring
Wow,
oversight in the day to day.
Huh.
While they're
Wow.
trying to hire
crossing that line. I
going
would-
through this. Sounds
Yeah.
pretty messy.
I don't think we should do that, James.
No,
I also.
I think we'll stick with it right here.
CC 1004, existing rights and contracts not affected. The clerk of the Supreme Judicial and Superior Court may issue summons for witness to attend and produce books, documents. It's recommending a comma. And papers at any, no, after documents. At any meeting of the town council for the town of Millinocket at which a hearing is had in any matter regarding any alleged
How
dereliction.
about now?
Yeah, right. Dereliction, which summons shall be served as required by the sufficient in matters before the Supreme Judicial or Superior Courts on complaints or failures to obey summons to the direct district court for Northern Penobscot, which court is expressly given jurisdiction to hear such complaints. Said district court, if it finds failure to obey said summons to be without reasonable excuse, shall impose a fine not less than $10 nor more than $100 or imprisonment not more than 30 days or both. All rights of appeals are to be available as exist in general laws of the town clerk. There's a couple of grammar mistakes in this. The first one being documents needs a comma.
Yeah. Striking the word in.
No, and's proper because there's nothing after it. If there was another comma afterwards, oh, there is one. Is had in any matter regarding, which, yeah, so there is one, so striking and.
Actually, I think that's supposed to be there because it's document and papers.
But there's another comma afterwards, so I'm assuming there needs to be a period added somewhere.
Where's the other comma?
And paper is at any meeting of the town council, of the town of Millinocket, which hearing is had in any matter regarding any alleged dereliction, comma, which summons shall be served as
Oh,
required.
okay. Yeah.
Right, but I think the document and papers is supposed to be together for that break in the sentence.
So then there needs to be a period somewhere after then.
Right.
And papers, period.
Well, it'd be in papers at any meeting of the town council for the town of Millinocket at which a hearing, no, it's a compound sentence. Is had in any matter regarding any alleged dereliction, and then I think it should say, and which summons shall be served. I think the and should be removed before papers and added before which. Because it's saying, and which summonses shall be served. So it's saying papers will be served and summonses.
Right, but it's telling you what can be summons. It's saying documents and papers at any meeting of the town council can be summons.
And papers,
that-
I agree,
Okay,
because it says the word books also, so.
Right, it's telling you what, in that little section of the sentence, it's saying what can be summons, and it breaks it down further as far as what else can be. But that's
I
why
see what
that's
you're
in
saying now.
commas. Yep,
you spelled matter correctly.
TT,
two T's.
I went to Stearns too.
There we go.
In any matter regarding any alleged dereliction in which summons shall be served as required to be sufficient in matters before the Supreme Judicial or Superior Courts. So there be a period between Superior Courts and on complaints?
This is the,
Yeah,
this compound sentence, well, I bracketed in between because I noticed it's just, there's so much with a.
Oh, I see. On complaints or
Relatively
failure to
decent
obey
lack
summons.
of periods and or comments. It's very.
Yeah, that sentence is extremely long, that's why I was confused. On complaints or failure to obey summonses to the district court from the Penobscot, which is expressly given jurisdiction to hear such complaints, said district court, if it finds failure to obey said summons to be without reasonable excuse, shall impose a fine of not less than $10 nor more than $100, or imprisonment for 30 days. I'm assuming that's nothing we can change, that's like a lawyer question. I'm assuming there's probably laws on maximum, minimum penalties.
I'm sure.
I can't imagine that. They don't want to turn it into a $10 these days.
C-1006, there's no other changes recommended. C-1006, oath of office, every officer of the town shall, before entering upon the duties of his office, that should be changed to,
yep. They're off.
yep, their office.
Oh, we could say his or her.
We were gonna
Yeah,
do that,
and we spoke about that at the last meeting about the difference between just putting there versus he or her.
Because now
We want to
Because
be
now
some
generous.
it's-
people are called them.
I think that was not really the majority of the change, but reading purposes. having
It just,
there
it
would
read
be
smoother if we just put there versus
We
he,
want to be gender
dash,
neutral, not,
she.
not gender,
Specific.
yeah.
I understand, but all through nature, you have a male and a female.
Yeah, I get that.
I agree.
And I'm not saying that I disagree at all. What I'm saying is for reasons of reading with simplicity, instead of saying his or her, or saying his
Okay.
slash her, it'd be easier to say just there. That's the only reason I'm saying it's for
Yeah.
100% grammar. Not that I disagree.
Okay, I just want it. Yeah.
Can you imagine what happens to the French language when they try to make it gender neutral?
Right? Oh, I don't even want to get started with that. Subscribe to the following oath or affirmation to be filed and kept in the office of the town clerk. I solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution and will obey the laws of the United States and the state of Maine, that I will, in all respect, observe the provisions of the charter and ordinances of the town of Millinocket, and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of whatever that office may be. C-1007, continuation of ordinances not inconsistent. All ordinances of the town of Millinocket in force at the time when this charter takes effect, not inconsistent with the provisions of this charter, shall continue in force until amended or repealed.
Hmm. That sounds strange.
I think basically saying that no sunset laws, just in the books, it has to be repealed or.
Which that's already been stated
It's,
twice.
it's saying, I think it's saying that if we pass something that is against the charter as an ordinance, and
All ordinance of the town of Millinocket in force at time when this charter takes effect, not inconsistent with the provisions of this charter shall continue. It's saying if there is no objection.
not inconsistent,
So if there's no conflicting argument between the two, then
they stay in force.
they stay in force.
Yeah, no, that's, yeah.
Well, that's how I understand it.
Yeah, no, it is, it's fine. Any objections?
No.
Go on.
In fact, I bet a lot of these things are legal protections where if we didn't have them or we took them out, you could wind up spending a lot more time in court hammering through that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Correct.
Things like that are written just as protection.
We do use it.
In the beginning, like, we're not that far in, you're gonna see that a lot until we get further down.
That's right.
This is my third time reading through it. A lot more thoroughly this time than before. So I don't think I saw it as much once you get like down into like the different subjects, but C-1008, removal of officers and employees. Appeals. Any officer or employee to whom the town manager or a head of any office, department, or agency may appoint a successor may be removed by the manager or other appointing officers at any time. The decision of the manager or other appointing officers shall be subject to appeal at the Personal Appeals Board. Notice of such appeals shall be made in writing to the town manager and the town council within 30 days of notice of dismissal.
Any issues?
No, I think it's great.
No, look at it.
Move on.
There is an editor's note, so you all know, subsection 3.6 of chapter 3, administration of government has continuations on the subjects we just talked about. C-109 of 1009, Personal Appeals Board. There shall be Personal Appeal Board consisting of 3 members appointed by the town council from among the qualified voters of the town. All appointments shall be made for terms of 3 years.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Is there only 3 members on that board?
Deals, yeah.
Like actively right now? Or is there?
I believe there is. I think Bobby's on. Appeal
Yes.
board.
C-1011 is reserved.
1010.
1,000.
C-1011 bonds and officials. Town council shall require a bond with sufficient surety or sureties satisfactory to the town council from all persons trusted with the collection, custody, or disbursement of any of the public's monies, and may require such bond from such other officials as it may deem advisable. The premium charges for said bonds to be paid by the town.
I don't know if it is necessary, but my copy has, so on your, titles of each paragraph, mine have spaces between C10 and 10 and the,
Subject
subchapter.
and the C.
Well, like, you don't have spaces on that one. So mine has spaces on the subchapter before the C10.
And
I don't think it matters. I mean, that's.
I just want to say that I'm not sure if that matters to anybody else, but like mine shows documentation.
It is, I mean, separate thing. I mean,
Subsection,
subchapter,
subsection chapter 1.
And actually, by the time this is done, and if the decision is made to redo it, that will all be part of the layout anyways.
Yeah.
That will be up to us to do that. That'll be,
Correct. Which the only layout changes that I've made from, I didn't explain this to you before we started. The only layout changes that I personally made when I distributed the digital copy was the font style that the original book is in is massively outdated and really doesn't exist. So I put it in Calabri, which is just a basic generic font style that's used. There was times in Roman, but I thought Calabri was easier to read. Fonts size 12 across the board for the regular font, and then titles are obviously different. But those are the only changes that I personally made when making the digital copy.
I always use, Bookman old style.
Bookman old style.
Yeah.
C-1012 charter amendments amended on 11/3 of 92. This charter may be amended in accordance with 38 MRSA subsection 2101. I don't think there needs to be any change to that. There is a massive editor's note. I don't think that's important to us.
yeah, I don't believe we want
Messing with those.
the rest of this.
I do recommend one change to the editor's note. It says the following is what I think it's supposed to be. I don't know if that's an error with mine, but my head numbers and stuff.
At the
Following
following,
provision.
Yeah, mine didn't say that. That was mine.
There's one there by legal voter too, period, comma.
How far down is that?
Just above the cursor, right there.
Yeah. Okay.
Alrighty. That's the editor notes, the same.
And then it goes into the
And get
code.
into the code.
Which is nothing we have any.
No.
And the ability to review.
So that's it. Then we just go back and start where we began.
Yeah, I want to hear.
Just 15, that's fine.
Want to start another secondary one, just,
We probably have time for a section or two.
I've got, page 7. It's a table of contents.
Oh,
I don't think there's much we can disagree with.
Yeah, I agree. There's no spelling mistakes. There's no issues that I can see. All the way down to appendix is fine, disposition index is fine.
okay, just one question. Is that why, like, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7? 6 was one of these that was reserved. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 17.
I'm assuming. Yeah, that would be my understanding, that the reserve section were.
Look at that. I mean, that makes sense.
You're talking about on the index, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4.
5, 7, 9.
Okay, well, let's go to appeals board and let's see what. That's article, part 1 administrative legislation. That must be folded in the back.
I'm assuming it's referencing
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, because there's a whole area jumped from 9 down to 17.
Let's look at that. Where the code starts. I'm having trouble relating that to that section of the code where it's. Oh,
I think you're right. I think it's either same space or it refers to the code instead.
Well, you said 9. 9. I think code is.
Is 9 in the code?
Well,
Article one is
well, the
optional.
editor
Code.
says starts with 9.
It's referencing the code.
hold on.
I think that's what that 9 is, the gap in between.
Overlook.
You guys talking?
Yeah, they're looking at
Trying to figure out.
why part 1 administration, administrative legislative, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 skips, then goes to 7.
Then to 9.
Then to 9 and then skips and goes to 17.
General version, article 1, adoption code. That,
Maybe there are, maybe there are requirements to be put into the code to be incorporated And it may include things like for cities or
What I'm assuming.
just something.
It could be a multitude. of
Yeah.
things, whether it be. to the
So it
code
wasn't,
or-
it was
yeah.
something else other than what we are, so it was,
Right.
that's the kind of thing the lawyers are gonna have to tell us.
I don't think we have time now to get
Yeah,
into the C5,
so we'll just start
but
at,
we did make a massive jump.
so we'll just start at the 7 table of contents next time. Go from there, just review that. And maybe we-
Table, we just went through it. We talked about how there's really no need for change.
It's just a couple of punctuation errors.
Yeah, that's,
Okay, then we'll start with page C1 of the chart.
do you know where? Or,
Yeah, keep scrolling up. Right there, procedure. You got a comma and a semicolon. Subchapter C12, yep,
Yeah.
212,
that's,
Oh, yeah.
that's translation.
yep. And then I think there was another one, keep scrolling up.
You have a
Up.
good eye, Bob.
Keep going up. Up, thank you. Up, up, up. Keep going up. It was way back, if I remember right. Okay, oh, okay, then you must have got it. Okay. I thought there was another one in between.
What else?
Expenditures.
Oh, vacancies is supposed to be a period.
Yeah.
Board of Appeals should have a period. Yeah, that's it. Before we end, personally, I don't, that having executive sessions right after doesn't help. We had talked in the first meeting about doing hour to 2 hour meetings. I'm just curious if that's still the plan.
A motion that we go to 2-hour sessions.
I second.
Put it in the minutes.
As soon as he puts it on YouTube, I go back and watch it. 'Cause I don't have time to do both.
Yeah. You get a majority, so fine. So
Um,
you're a motion and you're a second.
he
No,
motioned, I
Bob.
second.
So,
That's all I got. I motion made adjourn.
Second,
so we're taking it off on page C5.
C5. And we finished all the new weather.
We're done.
It was, Bob seconded.
Any objections? Unanimous.
All right, I'm gonna go stop on the computers.
You guys gotta meet.
We do.
Hey, I don't.
Everybody's gonna be getting out of here.
Mhm.
See you shortly, Bob.